Today we're going to tackle a really challenging idea, one that asks you to make a pretty tough choice about the people in your life. The premise is, well, it's simple, but it is not easy. Delete them, or delete your future. Let's really dig into what that means.
So let's start with a direct question. Just think about it for a second. Who are the people you spend your nights with? Whose names pop up the most in your text messages? Seriously, picture them. Think about who they are and what you actually talk about. You've probably heard this a million times, and for good reason. The people you surround yourself with, they literally shape your mindset, your habits, and yeah, ultimately your future. And look, this isn't just some nice-sounding quote. It's framed as an undeniable reality. This brings us to what's called the brutal math of life. The idea here is to stop thinking about your social circle with your feelings and start looking at it like a cold, hard equation, one with a very predictable outcome. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, first, let's talk about money. If the 5 people you hang out with the most are constantly broke, always complaining about money, and have terrible spending habits, well, the brutal math says you are on the fast track to becoming the 6th. Now, let's apply that same logic to work ethic. If your 5 closest friends are always avoiding hard work, procrastinating, just lacking any real discipline, guess who's going to become the 6th person in that group? It's like this magnetic pull towards the group's average. It's almost unavoidable.
And finally, ambition. If your 5 best friends are totally fine with mediocrity, they don't have any big goals, and they're not pushing for more, the math says you'll be the 6th. You will literally adopt their ceiling as your own. Now, the key point here isn't to attack your friends, it's just a stark observation about influence.
And this quote just perfectly illustrates the burden, right? You might have your own huge ambitions, your own mountain you want to climb, but if your circle isn't climbing with you, they just become dead weight. Every excuse, every distraction, every bad habit, it's just another rock they're putting in your backpack, making your climb feel almost impossible. So, why? Why does this even happen? Why would your friends, of all people, hold you back? Well, there's a powerful psychological concept that explains this perfectly. It's called the crab bucket mentality, and it's all about why your success can actually feel like a threat to them. The idea is actually pretty simple. Just imagine a bucket full of crabs. If one of those crabs starts to climb out, starts to get close to escaping, the other crabs will literally reach up and pull it back down into the bucket. It's not always malicious, you know. Sometimes it's just a desperate attempt to keep things the same. Does any of this sound familiar? You start working hard on a project, and they call it an obsession. You start saving your money, and suddenly you're stingy. You start chasing a big, crazy dream, and they tell you to be realistic. See, these phrases aren't really about protecting you. They're the sound of the crabs pulling you back down.
And here is the really uncomfortable truth behind all of that. Your decision to grow, to improve yourself, to change, it acts like a giant mirror. It forces them to see their own inaction, their own lack of progress. And for a lot of people, it's just easier to pull you down than it is for them to start climbing themselves.
So all of this, it leads you to a crossroads, a fundamental choice that you have to make. And it is not an easy one. It's a choice between 2 very, very different kinds of pain. This quote just nails the heart of the decision. As humans, we have this deep, deep fear of being alone. But you have to ask yourself, is that fear worse than the fear of ending up somewhere you never wanted to be just because you were afraid to leave the crowd? So let's frame the choice this way. It really boils down to this one question. The feeling of loneliness you might have after you cut some ties, trust me, that will fade. But the feeling of regret for a life you could have lived, for the potential you never reached, that lasts forever.
Look, let's just lay it all out. On one side, you've got temporary discomforts, loneliness, the fear of the unknown, solitude. But on the other side, you've got things that are permanent, regret, stagnation, and being stuck in the exact same struggle 5 years from now. When you see it like this, the choice becomes a whole lot clearer, doesn't it?
And you know what? Let's flip the script on what being alone even means. It's not just emptiness. When you finally remove all the noise, all the distractions, the constant invitations to go nowhere, what's left behind is silence. And in that silence, you can finally hear yourself think. You can finally focus on building what you actually want.
Okay, so you're thinking, I get it, a change is necessary, but how? How do you actually do it without some huge dramatic confrontation? Well, you don't need one. There's a much quieter and honestly a more effective way.
Here's the simple 3-step playbook. First, you just disappear. Not literally, but you stop being available for all the things that don't serve your goals. Second, you just start saying no. No to the invitations that drain your time, your energy, and your money. And third, and this is the most important part, you take all that new time and energy and you refocus it. You reinvest it into yourself and into your future.
This right here, this requires a total shift in your mindset. Your goal is no longer to be liked by everyone or to be the most popular person in this stagnant group. You're playing a completely different game now, and the rules are different. The prize isn't popularity, it's a life that you build on your own terms. All right, as we bring this all home, there's one last really powerful metaphor that just ties everything together. It's all about how you choose to navigate the journey of your life.
Think of it this way. The people in your life are one of two things. They are either anchors that hold you in place, keeping you stuck in the same harbor, representing your past, or they are sails, catching the wind and propelling you forward into new territory, representing your future. There's really no in between.
And that leads to the final call to action. It's a clear, simple instruction. Identify the anchors in your life, the people, the habits, the mindsets holding you back, and you cut the ropes. Then you find the sails and you hoist them high. So we end right where we began. You're facing a stark choice. It's a binary decision with no middle ground. And according to this way of thinking, what you decide right now will determine everything that comes next. The choice is yours.